Hey guys, I'm Bobby Rio, and today I wanted to talk to you about how to make a girl laugh and do it in a way that gets her attracted to you. It was only recently that I came to realize that making women laugh was completely different than I had previously thought. For the longest time, I used to believe that the same humor that had my friends rolling on the floor laughing would naturally cause the same reaction in the women I was talking to. I mean, wouldn't this make sense? But when I really started to pay attention to what women were laughing at, I started to notice a few things. The sarcastic wit that made me a hit around most of my guy friends very seldom got positive reactions around women. Also, some of the guys I knew who had the lamest, most childish humor often seemed to get the best reaction out of women. And women very rarely judged the originality and cleverness of humor the way my guy friends did. So what do women find funny? About 4 years ago, I really started to get serious about trying to figure out what I was doing wrong when I was talking to women. It was at this point that I came across a book that taught the concept of cocky and funny. The concept made a lot of sense to me, so I tweaked my humor and started talking to women with this new, different manner. But having misunderstood the advice contained within the book, I set out to basically bully women into liking me. I would use sharp sarcasm and ironic wit to often humiliate women. The worst thing that happened to me was that I actually found several girls that just ate this stuff up. These few women loved it, and I took it as a sign that this was the correct way to make women laugh. So I proceeded to use this same humor on every woman I met, and failed miserably. What I hadn't realized was that the few girls that seemed to really enjoy this sarcastic humor, while they were attractive, were somewhat of tomboys with a real masculine energy that did not represent the rest of the female population. I was about to give up. Then one day I just sat there and watched my friend Will interact with women. Will had always been somewhat of a natural with women. I could never understand it, as I found his humor silly and childish, and he rarely said anything that would have any of my male friends laughing. But as I watched him, I began to pay more attention to the way that women were reacting to him. The women that were surrounding him had a permanent smile on their faces. While they were never rolling on the floor laughing, they were constantly in a state of playfulness and fun. Now I became curious, and I began to hone in on exactly what he was doing. As I listened, I found that he was interacting with them in the same way a fourth-grade boy would interact with a fourth-grade girl on the playground. There was no groundbreaking humor. Instead, there was constant silliness. He was perpetually teasing them. He was making funny faces, using his voice to tell stories in a way that sort of reminded me of an over-energized 9-year-old boy telling the story of how he beat up the town bully. There was an endless barrage of only mildly amusing jokes, goofy movie quotes, and shameless physical flirting. But the girls were eating it up. It was right then that I came to realize that women don't want funny. They want fun. I had always concentrated so hard on finding those perfect one-liners that would pronounce me the king of comedy and have my audience amazed at my originality and wit that I forgot exactly who my audience was. Women aren't that funny. Women don't really care about original. They don't care about witty and sharp. They don't want sharp humor. Women just want to have fun. They don't want to have to think. And if your jokes are making them think too much, you're probably taking them out of the moment. Here's a simple process for having fun with women. If you're a guy having trouble making women laugh, then your first step is to look around and pay attention to what they are actually laughing at. You'll see that they much rather watch silly romantic comedies than those witty, indie, dark comedies that win all the awards. You'll see they don't care much about the originality of your jokes, and in fact, they're probably more likely to laugh at you repeating a knock-knock joke you heard in the 6th grade than whatever sarcastic remark that pops into your mind. You'll see that women don't appreciate the concept of cool the way men do. Women would rather you take the stick out of your ass and act in a fun, silly way than stand around like you're some sort of big shot. And playground humor never gets old. Never. Women want you, and they want to be around a guy that allows them to have fun. The next time that you're out with a woman and engaged in a conversation with her, make it a priority to take the conversation back to the playground. As you're talking to her, imagine that the two of you are a couple of 9-year-olds on the playground during recess of school, and begin acting in a manner congruent to this. Use things like the mouse race. With the mouse race, you take a pen and tell the woman that 3 mice are having a race: a blind mouse, a dumb mouse, and a deaf mouse. So what you do is you put the pen to her arm and you say, "Here's the blind mouse. Tell him when to stop," and you start drawing. She'll say, "Stop," right away. Then you'll say, "Here's the dumb mouse. Tell him when to stop," and you start drawing. She'll say, "Stop," right away. Then you say, "Here's the deaf mouse. Tell him when to stop," and you start drawing. This time when she says stop, you just keep drawing. She'll say stop again, and you just keep drawing. If she doesn't get it, look at her and say, "He's deaf. He can't hear you, dummy," and just keep drawing. But by now you've drawn a line completely up her arm. This is something completely stupid, something that was funny in the 2nd grade. But for some reason, it's funny all over again. It's always good to have a few of these little games ready, although you never want to do more than a couple of them, as they will get old. But by doing a 1 or 2, you show a girl that you're the kind of guy that doesn't take himself too seriously, who she can have fun around. She'll appreciate that as a lot more than she would a witty, ironic observation that you spent a half an hour perfecting the joke in your own head. Remember, take her back to the playground. I've learned a lot about these sort of small talk tactics that get women to like hanging out with you and become attracted to you, and I've compiled a bunch of them into a 27-page report I call Small Talk Tactics, and a 1-hour audio training session I call Conversation Secrets. And I want to give them both away to you completely free. No strings attached, I promise. This free offer will not be up forever. And so many guys have been writing me and telling me that the reports have completely changed the way they talk to women that I have contemplated one day selling it. But for now, it's still free. Grab your free copy of the report and the audio now. Go to www.makesmalltalksexy.com.
Hey, it's Bobby. If you like this video, make sure you hit the big subscribe button below. Every Wednesday, I release a brand new video on creating attraction, avoiding the friend zone, looking less desperate and needy, and more confident, high value, and masculine around the women you're talking to. Every video will include specific techniques and tactics that you can use immediately. So if you like this video, make sure you subscribe.